Oh, okay. I'm doing a little bit of a Friday morning comb out before I leave. And I always think, oh, I love the wide tooth comb the best. It's the best comb for detangling. But I don't know. Like, I was going through the closet yesterday, and yes, this comb is a little bit older, and I've had it for a few years, and it came in a set with like a small brush. But what I kind of like about it is I feel like it actually kind of gets through a little bit more of my hair than the hairbrush and the wide tooth comb. Now I can alternate between different tools and just see what makes my hair feel like it smooths down the best. Now, one thing I'm going to tell you is I got my hair like damp, wet. It's not going to completely like get my hair saturated wet in the shower today because I don't wear a shower cap since um I prolong washing my hair. One of the whole points of that is I don't wear a shower cap because I want the water to hit into my hair, and then I keep adding more and more moisture back into my hair. Like when I'm detangling, sometimes I go into the sink and I'm putting water into the ends of my hair, or I'm spraying some of this stuff in my hair. So my hair has been wet all over in the last month, but this is the longest I've ever gone without like fully like doing a full hair wash. And it's funny because I usually go every 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks max. Like three is usually my upper limit point, but just things kept happening. And when I wash my hair, since it's so long now, I like to take my time and have time to detangle my hair. So I haven't like completely washed my hair in like 3.5 weeks. That's a long time. Eek. But one thing I've noticed is my hair is detangling so much more quickly, so much more easily, for me anyway, than when I like, just because I think at this point, like your hair has so much buildup of your own kind of natural oils in it that it just kind of helps with the detangling process, really. So all the combs I've had over the years, I sometimes bring them back out because I have a lot of combs and brushes, but okay, I'm thinking about elevating once again, like to getting the wooden comb and the wooden brush because I keep hearing so much about it, and I'm like, maybe that's the way to go to get one of those. Okay, so let her. And when I start like spraying that stuff, I'm trying to spray it in my hair directly over the sink, which is one of the good things about like. First off, it's just easier to comb my hair in the kitchen because I can see all the hair and I can wipe it up off the floor if it gets on the floor later. And also, I can like put my hair over the sink if I spray it or put some water in it and not get the water all over the floor. Good morning. Oh, hear the birdies outside. So cute. I can hear birds outside. I love that in the early morning because there's this tree right outside of our apartment, and there's just this. It has a lot of bird's nests in it. I know they always are trying to trim them out, but I'm just like, stop messing with that tree. Stop over landscaping the tree. Leave the tree alone. Leave the birdies alone. And it's true. They say that birds in the city can mimic. Well, this is more like a suburban area. The birds in a suburban area can mimic sounds, and I think that the dogs and the birds, like, they mimic the sound of the sirens going to the hospital because there's a couple hospitals nearby. Now, years ago, because I had grown up in the mountains, even though I went to school at UC Riverside, I don't know, sirens used to just put me on edge. And people from the mountains, when they hear sirens, they're like, oh my God, it's a siren. Because I used to feel that way. Like, over a decade ago, the siren would just make me feel like really on edge. But then, and I also had lived in a couple other places that were more rural, and just, you don't hear sirens every day, but when you're in an area near a hospital, like, and actually I think there's an ambulance company nearby too, you hear more sirens, and it's just like, I mean, nothing like LA or New York, I'm sure, but the sirens would just throw me off. Like, when I used to hear them at first, I'd be like, oh, they're so loud. I'm a little bit more used to it now, but one thing I've noticed over the years is that the dogs and the birds mimic the sounds of the siren. They also mimic the sounds of the freeway because we're next to a freeway, and sometimes the freeway is just making more noise than other times. I think it's like sound is bouncing off the barrier wall. I know. It's funny though how dogs kind of mimic. Like, there are some dogs, like there's this one dog though, like he mimics the sound of a siren. So, like, before you even hear the siren, you'll hear the, because dogs have really good hearing. You'll hear this dog and he sounds like a fire engine, or he sounds like an ambulance. And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess a siren's coming, and then you'll hear it a second later. But compared to like LA, New York, Chicago, this is a suburban area. It's much quieter where I live. Like, you just hear a few sirens here and there, and the freeway sometimes. But those are about the only sounds. I mean, they are beginning to build more things. Like, how many warehouses do we need? I don't know, but apparently we need more of them. Well, companies want to make more of them to ship more stuff, basically. I think this area is becoming like a shipping hub, kind of. I read about that, and it's sad. They cut down so many orange trees to build all these warehouses. It's like, it's kind of sad. Yes, you live in a suburban area, kind of probably similar to me. Like, it's a city, but how should I put it this way? Our city has like 71,000 people, but this is the thing about California cities, because we're so um densely populated. Like, our cities don't really have demarcation points. Like in Southern California, it's just because people always, when we were kids, were like, but it's just continuous city. And little kids were like, well, isn't that just one city? And they said, no, this is kind of the hallmark of like Southern California. I don't know if there's any other place that's like this, but because we have such population density now, my part in the Inland Empire is suburban because it's still spread out, and you would have orange fields, which they're slowly beginning to cut down, and like just more open spaces, but you would have a little bit of like city center, but it'd be spread out, but like there would be no like stopping in one city, merging into the next, they just go one into another. Like, you can go down the line, Redlands, Loma Linda, um, Colton, Grand Terrace, Rialto, Montana, Rancho Cucamonga. Like, it just keeps going down the line. It's interesting. Okay, I guess there are other areas like that. That's interesting because I feel like California, Southern California, like, I felt like maybe that was something unique because of our population density. I'm sure, like, maybe in parts of Texas it's like that too, I'm guessing. Probably near Chicago. Probably the suburbs of a lot of major cities are similar to that. But, okay, this might be the way it's different. Okay, I live 120 miles inland from the ocean, okay? And from like the base of the San Bernardino Mountains all the way up to the ocean, like you start with more suburban cities that are more spread out, and then the closer you get to LA, you still have some like open areas, but you get more and more like of a metropolis kind of thing. Anyway, it's interesting. I don't know. I am not a fan of LA, by the way. Like everybody thinks that LA is California. And every time I go down to LA, there's some interesting things to go do down there, but I would never want to live in LA. I don't feel like it's more cultural than the rest of California. That's a fallacy. Like there's culture everywhere. There are people from different cultures everywhere, and I don't think a big city which can be dirty, which can have crime, which has a problem with taxpayer dollars not going to like actually house the homeless because California is so horrible with the waste of money. They just waste taxpayer dollars. It's not all that on a bag of chips. I would rather live in a suburban area or the mountains and the desert. Like the city is overrated in my opinion. Like people think cities are so exciting, but I'm like, I don't know. I probably just don't have a very urbane sense, I guess, because I would never want to live in a really big city. That's just my opinion. So, I mean, you can't really help where you live. I mean, you don't always have choices. I know some people like um some more privileged kind of people, they think people can just pick up and move wherever they want. You know, it's really privileged, by the way, because a lot of people don't have the resources to just, I mean, you could in the past to some degree, like if you were kind of a nomad, wandering kind of person, there are people that do that. And I'm not saying you can't do it anymore, but if you do it nowadays, probably the only option would be to live in your car, or if you're really hardcore transient, like homeless. And honestly, like I don't think all homeless people are bad people. Like some people say they're all drug addicts and bums, and you know some do have mental health issues. But one thing I've just observed about homeless people actually is some of them are in our area are actually really polite. A lot of them are actually veterans with PTSD and mental health issues, and our state just has squandered taxpayer dollars and hasn't provided housing for them, even though they create these initiatives saying we're going to create low income housing, but it never really comes into fruition. Like they'll hire a firm to build it or plan it out, and then like they might build it, but does it? It's interesting. So I kind of am like, don't drink the Kool-Aid that thinking that one political party cares about people because they're all. I've gotten to the point that I don't think any like I still vote, but I don't want to like be part of any of these groups. Like I'm not going to be part of any group, to be honest with you, because I just feel like, yeah, I think you should still vote, still have an opinion, but like a lot of it, I'm I think should be off social media. Like I don't like I kind of think it's weird now where everybody like it used to be that people were a little bit more private about that. I don't think you have to be private about it. You can have an opinion and share it, but it's just gotten to the point that if, like, let's say somebody doesn't want to take a stand on a political issue, like, let's say a business doesn't want to take a stand on a political issue, and they'll be shamed into it. And I just find it kind of gross because maybe we are too politicized, and then it becomes just like a religion or something, you know? No, that's good that you do, but like, have you noticed though now that if companies don't take a political position, like literally companies have to make political statements. It's just interesting because I don't think they all want to do that, but if they don't do that, they'll get kind of ostracized. It's just weird. I'm just like, really, it's a business. Why do you need a business to make a political statement? Why? Like, if you feel so strongly about something, just support it. Do you really need some big business to say, "Oh, I support your cause"? Like, why? Why do you need that? It's too political though. And you know another thing is it's kind of on PRC style. Like people think like the whole I don't want to get like I am a little political like in talking about it, but what it is like people think certain types of politics are more elevated or they're better, like, and it's kind of like how it is in China, where I hate to say it, you have one group of people that benefit. It's not like everybody's equal. They're not egalitarian. You have a lot of empty housing in China, and you have actually a larger gap between the rich and the poor in China than you do in the US, which is interesting. They always say, well, like the US has a big gap, but it's actually much more pronounced, and it's not unknown for like 9 people that have college degrees with jobs in like very educated fields to live in a 2-bedroom apartment together. Like that's the disparity. But then you have an upwardly mobile upper middle class, and it's that kind of thinking though. I feel like it's interesting that's been functioning there. It's kind of been globalized really here in the US too, like you're getting that way. But if you can avoid it to the best of your ability, just do. It's just not healthy. It is, but it's beginning to kind of influence our culture and our politics a little bit more, because people don't realize this, that China owns a lot of our national debt, and they own a lot of our businesses, and there's a lot of global ideas now. And I would say, yeah, like they aren't exactly socialists anymore. They're more like a corporate socialist mix, and it's kind of the same way in the US. It's just interesting, but I kind of am like, at the end of the day, yeah, I wouldn't get involved in any group that says, "Oh, we are better than other people. Like we do things the best." And I'm just like, ugh, no. Anyway, I'm gonna go off that topic because it's getting kind of just old after a while. And anytime you look at the news, that's all it is like, this group is better than that group. We think better than another person. And I'm just like, okay. Yeah, a hybrid. Vietnam's a good example. And I think it's kind of becoming more of a global thing, really, where you have this hybridization. But anyhow, it's kind of old for me after a while. I just kind of want to get away from all that. Like, if I had more money, I think it's not like I want to live way out in the middle of nowhere in California, but I would kind of just like to live in Hawaii or California, a more rural area. Like, if money were no object, I think I would be pretty happy just living in, I don't know, like a more rural place, like buying a house. Like, that to me would be nice. Like, just to kind of get away from it all. Like, I'm kind of feeling that vibe lately, but it's all a money thing. Don't have that kind of money right now in my life. Mhm. Well, I'm just doing a braid actually today, but thanks for watching. Yeah, I just feel like the more you get away from all this, the happier you shall be, in my little opinions. Like, but I think a lot of people, they love urban life, so maybe what I'm talking about doesn't apply to them. But now, like with COVID, like how can you even enjoy the urban life, because you can't really go out and socialize? So all the things that people used to think were so exciting about living in a big city, until they get a hold on COVID, those things really don't apply anymore. And now with the internet, you can watch like performances online, and that's actually what they're encouraging people to do. So yeah, I just don't think you need, like, the internet. You have the internet. You don't really need to live in the city to have those experiences, and you can't have them right now anyway due to COVID. Well, people still do though. People just, they do what they want though. Like, they still gather. Like, have you seen the park lately? Nobody stopped getting together. They just didn't. Okay, they just took it to the park, and I'm like, yeah, there was like a big group of people. Skirmish anyone? Oh, what a bad idea. That is not a good idea. Like, yeah, this guy, he was talking about a skirmish game, and I'm like, yeah, that's really not a good idea. A very, very bad one, in my opinion. But hey, what do I know? Everybody is very free flowing these days, so I'm just like, you do you, you do you. I don't even really care. I'm just like, yeah. I kind of. So what else was I gonna say that's new? Yes, just the whole. I didn't plan on not washing my hair thoroughly for this many days, but it is kind of making it soft. It's really aiding in combing it out much more easily, I have to say. I'm just like impressed in a way. In a way, I'm just a little bit impressed. Just need to tangle the ends a bit more. Thank you. I hear the birds tweeting. I love it. Birds tweeting are my favorite thing. Like I always like when I'm walking, I love to look aloft up into the trees to see if I see birds. Just like I love birds so much. So beautiful. I love to see birds. I feel very happy when I see birds. I'm just like one of my favorite things. I need to draw another bird actually. I haven't drawn a bird in a while. But I want to take a picture of a bird that I draw for myself. It feels like it goes through pretty smoothly. Right now, I'm on the way to maybe seeing if I can get a floor length hair because I think after I wash my hair, I want to do like kind of another hair length just showing video. But honestly, like my hair is wavy, right? So even the other day when I unbraided my hair, I noticed that it touches the tops of my calves. And I think technically my hair is longer than knee length, even though I always say my hair is like knee length. But I think it's firmly longer than knee length at this point. Because I feel like knee length is like the top of your knees, right? But I have seen and I can feel, and when I looked at that video, I'm like, you know what? My hair is definitely, it's beyond knee length, which is just so surreal for me to think. Like I thought for the longest time, oh, I want my hair to get to my knees. Like I thought that was so long. Like, and you know, it is. It's very long. And then I kind of realized feeling like now, and you know what? I did trim back a lot of my hair last year. I trimmed more than I thought. Okay, so I trimmed like 2 inches in May. I think I may have trimmed another inch in June. I trimmed like 2 inches in August. And I trimmed maybe half an inch to an inch in November. So I trimmed a lot of inches off my hair last year. Even though my hair is super long, I trimmed a lot of it and it still grew. But I feel like, I don't know, like I still do love the idea of like having like your ends maintained, but I have been trying to trim my hair less. Like I haven't trimmed it since November because like I do want to see like my hair grow. Like I want to get it longer to a point where it's definitely longer. That is a goal of mine for sure, you know. I definitely am working towards that goal. I want that to fall down the sink. You know, it is so cool that you guys like there's actually men that want to help women take care of their long hair. I have a different opinion like about I know some women in the long hair community, they don't like it when guys say that they like long hair, but that doesn't bother me because I find like guys that like long hair actually in general, unless they're like guys that have a hair cutting fetish, I find that they're more respectful than a lot of general guys because I always think like women they get upset. Oh, some guys said that they had long hair and it was pretty. I'm like, Get over it. Like, have you seen what men say on videos of women wearing bikinis? Like, oh my God. Like, have you seen the other side of YouTube? What are you complaining about? But I think that's really nice, and I think that's really cool because I haven't really met any guys that seem to know much about long hair in my own life. And I also think some women are, I hate to say it, like a lot of women don't like it when you say this, but I'm going to say it. Some women are feminists, and I'm not this whole third wave feminism thing. I'm not part of that. Like, it's another group think again. Like, and they think anytime, like, I've seen it and I've talked about this before. Oh, a man opens a door for them and they're like, I'm a feminist. I don't need you to open a door for me. Like, I actually saw women scream at a guy for opening a door for them. Like, really? That is so petty. I'm just like, he was just trying to be nice. He's like, oh, okay. And he looked kind of flustered and she was like screaming at him like he had said something verbally abusive to her or something because he opened the door for her. And she let everybody know she was a feminist, she can do things for herself. Nobody even said that she couldn't. All over a door being opened. Yeah. So I feel like that's part of it too. Like, I don't know, like I don't I just feel like everybody should be allowed to have opportunities and nobody should be treated bad or discriminated against. I'm not into groups that say, I am this and I'm going to trade on other people because they don't like me. Did they say anything mean to you? Now, if a group says something mean to you and derogatory to you, yeah, I could see it. Or if a particular person did. But just to get mad at somebody for opening a door or complimenting you because you wore a nice dress, I don't know. I personally just don't agree with that school of thought, but hey, some people do. And that seems to be, I mean, I could be wrong. I could be wrong, and I'm not trying. If people are feminists, I don't care. I'm not really, I'm not into that personally. There's nothing wrong with compliments. Like, if I think somebody looks nice, like I'm always like, oh, you look nice today. But now I feel like this might sound weird, but it's kind of talking about the political thing again. Like, I've heard them say, well, you should be careful how you compliment someone because that might be taken the wrong way. Or if it was getting this weird, okay? Like, you shouldn't call a child like sweetie or honey because that's demeaning. But like, there's literally places where that's like part of the lingo where people call everybody honey, sweetie, sugar. Like, that is just a colloquial way of speaking. And it gets weird, but anyway, you're never gonna win with that crowd. I don't think regular people feel this way though. I think it's just like people that are kind of polarized that feel this way. You know, I think in general, not everybody feels that way. It's just my guess. And if you do, is it because you feel that way, or is it because people keep telling you? I don't know. I'm just kind of like, okay. Yeah, it's good to be sensitive about the right things, but people are sensitive about the wrong things, Like, if something's truly mean spirited, yeah, you should be. But if something's just like, oh my God, somebody said you look nice, like, they literally just said you look nice. They were being nice. It was a compliment. I don't know. I was taught in my day, just say thank you, and that's all. Yeah. See, that's nice. I'm glad. Everybody should just be nice, compliment each other, like actually talk to their neighbors, say hello, like just normal things that we always used to do. I think it's still like that in a lot of places, but I don't know. It seems like now like people are just so detached and it's interesting. Yeah. Okay. Um, that on the side. Oh, so everything's good where you live. That's cool. I'm glad that it's like that. Maybe what I'm talking about is more like it's not everywhere, but I feel like maybe in some parts of California. Because well, it's like a mixture, I guess. Like you get a lot of different things going on here. California is not what people think it is. There's a wide diversity of people. I don't think I could ever live in a cold place. Like I grew up in the mountains of Southern California where it did snow, but then it would get warm a few days later. It wasn't like Midwest, East Coast level snow cold. I could never do that. I like the warm weather. Like you guys have winter for 6 months of the year. Like I swear in January some days we can wear short sleeves. I just couldn't do it. But I'm talking about I don't live in the mountains anymore. I live down in the valley area. Oh no. See if I should pull it up right there. I'm gonna have to restart. Oh do they get 110 degrees hot? 117 degrees hot? Like what is hot for you guys? Because I mean I don't want to like criticize, but I've heard a lot of people say on the East Coast that 85 degrees is hot, and that is actually cooler than some days in February and March here. So it's, but we have a dry heat. We don't have humidity. Okay, you have the humidity. We don't have that. So that's one of the things that's really nice actually about Southern California. This part of where I live, it's really dry, but sometimes in the winter, it's so dry. Like it is so dry, it dries out your skin, it dries out your lips, and then like you're wearing mask, which kind of rehydrate your lips in a weird kind of way. But then you have to wash your hands all the time, so your hands are like dry, and you're carrying around a bottle of lotion, like to constantly put lotion on your hands. That's how dry it can be, like in the wintertime here. It's really dry. I just feel like there's caught. I don't want hairs to be caught. Get really picky. Like I will not just braid up hairs that are caught. So I kind of have to keep going through parts of the braid again until I get it the way I want. Yeah, a lot of people think it's super easy, and there are some people with like super long hair, like they braid at whipneck speeds. But this is what I'm beginning to realize about my hair that takes me longer. I have wavy hair, I have thick hair, and the longer my hair gets, and the more I don't like actually like if you go longer without washing your hair, like I feel like my natural texture, like I always was kind of envious of my dad's hair because he had long hair when I was a kid, okay? And I noticed he had curly hair because, he's part Syrian, he's half. And I was like, I always thought that was really cool how his hair could be in ringlets. Like, he didn't take good care of his hair, but I was kind of jealous. I'm like, your hair, like, curls up the way that I want my hair to curl. Like, like, my hair could hold a curl. But then now, like, I don't have curly hair. I definitely have wavy hair. But one thing I'm noticing is my hair can hold, like, a wave and a curl so much more now than it could when I was younger, even. Like, if I do curl it, not that I've curled my hair in a while, but I can kind of like just take water and my hair starts forming more curly areas that curl into each other. It's interesting, but my hair is definitely wavy in texture, not curly. I'd say it's definitely wavy. Yeah, especially if you look at some of my videos, like after I've washed my hair, it's wavy. Well, some people are like, "Oh, I have beach." Like somebody took my picture from Instagram, and it's cool that they promoted me, but like they were saying it was an example of beach waves, but I actually had to say in the comments, no, my hair is actually wavy because after I wash my hair, I have waves at the top, like starting from the roots down. And that's not because I wear my hair in a braid. If anything, wearing my hair in a braid just kind of creates a different pattern to the waves. But if I wash my hair and then I comb out my hair, it has its own wavy texture to it. And I've kind of realized I need to not fight the texture of my hair as much. Like sometimes I want it to like smooth down a certain way and I get irritated with it, but I'm like, it's kind of just my hair wanting to do its own thing and kind of go a certain direction. Did you know you can reinvent yourself every day? Like I'm still always the person that I am, but like I reinvent myself every day. Like it's kind of like, how do I explain it? I'm just like new day, new thoughts, new mind, new time. Like I just always reinvent myself. Like That is how I live my life, buddies. Like, it's not even like, I don't know. I feel like it's just a mindset. Really, I just feel like starting over is so good. And the one thing that I just learned, it's not even like starting over in a new place. It's just a state of mind. I'm like, you know what? I don't get some people in this world, but I just realized something about myself. I've always been more in the land of the like kind-hearted people. And a lot of people like in Southern California, they're just so not kind-hearted or like okay, just like people in the way they think or they pretend to be kind-hearted but they're not really. But this is the thing that's so cool. I've written off all the narcissists. Like I feel like and there could be narcissists anywhere, but I feel like recently just seeing narcissistic behavior where people pretend like they're actually nice people, but and that's not really who they are. They're actually narcissists in sheep's clothing. I just, I'm just some of the tough as nails behavior, like people that pretend that they are really sweet and endearing and kind until you see the dark side of the moon and you see they're not really that okay, but like I don't know what it is. Like there would be certain people that I would think certain things about them. Like I would think that they were kinder than they were. But I actually had this person tell me they're not even kind. They're evil incarnate, whatever that's supposed to mean. Like, whatever. Are you good? I'm glad you can have everything that goes along with that. I'm going to. I just, so I've kind of thought over the last few months, like, it's weird. And then recently I've started talking to someone that I just kind of met perchance, and they aren't like that at all. And I'm like, you mean, or I just have friends in general, but you can actually meet people that, are just normal and like there are a lot of normal people in the world, but I just don't know. I don't know why I was interested in people that, well, I think it's because they have this facade of being like very nice and thoughtful, but it was all like a farce. And I just can't believe anything I think anymore until you know somebody for like years on end, maybe. Anyway, that's just my thoughts about all that. And yeah. Anyway, you have a great day, and Amma Tawel.